FPC, which is Firearms Policy Coalition, issues a statement on proposed executive actions to protect Second Amendment rights. You know, we've seen a lot of things coming out of the Trump administration. Everybody's wondering, like, well, are they going to do this? Are they going to do that? They've said this. You know, I swear, we're like these, you know, attention-starved children just hoping for scraps from the table, because nobody else, no other president really, truly has given Second Amendment its due. I mean, it's really, truly been, we've been begging for, you know, someone to do something, you know, be more effective. And so they've done some things, but it really has seemed a little haphazard. There doesn't seem to be a person in charge of Second Amendment, you know, and it doesn't seem to have a, you know, maybe a cohesive direction. And FPC in the last 5-10 years has really, truly stepped up to provide leadership in the Second Amendment world, which is appreciated and valued very, very much. So let's talk about what they did. April 7th was last week. Today, the Firearms Policy Coalition announced priority policy reforms and urged the White House and Department of Justice to take immediate and meaningful action to safeguard and support the rights of peaceable gun owners across the country. Peaceable. They started using that term, and I have absolutely ripped it off. I think that peaceable gun owners is exactly the right descriptive. Background, we submitted a report to the White House and DOJ outlining numerous positive key reforms that the Trump administration can enact to address unconstitutional and burdensome rules, regulations, and enforcement practices. They talk about some of the things that have happened, but then I want to get right to what we're looking to achieve. This is Firearms Policy Coalition. Among numerous other proposed reforms, FPC is encouraging the White House and DOJ to do, and they list out 3 things. I'll say the 3 things and let's talk about them. Establish a Second Amendment Czar, a dedicated official to coordinate and implement the administration's pro-rights policy agenda across the executive branch, from DOJ criminal prosecutions to civil litigations, the ATF, Department of Commerce, and more, to ensure that all federal departments and agencies are aligned around protecting the right to keep and bear arms. This role would also serve as a liaison to ensure Second Amendment concerns are consistently addressed at the highest levels. Number 2, create and staff a First and Second Amendment section within the DOJ's Civil Rights Division. Of course, those two go hand in hand, First and Second Amendment. This would be a specialized section within the DOJ dedicated to addressing and litigating against unconstitutional laws, policies, and practices of state and local officials that violate the right to keep and bear arms and, of course, free speech. They actually spell out particularly hostile territories like California, New York, New Jersey, Massachusetts, Maryland, Connecticut, and Hawaii. And then the third one is enact massive National Firearms Act reforms. Boy, let me read that again. Enact massive National Firearms Act arms reforms. So that's a comprehensive review and modernization initiative to remove or update outdated rules and processes, increasing access to NFA-regulated firearms, our arms, and speed processing with point-of-purchase processing, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. All right, let's start with the first one. Establish a Second Amendment czar. That took on, I think the first time I started hearing czar was like late in the Bush presidency. They started coming up with it. There's not actually a position czar. They're just talking about putting somebody in a position of authority where that's their focus, and everything having to do with that subject is responsible. So a Second Amendment czar, I think, would absolutely help solve the idea that, you know, hey, it's a little haphazard, and is the FBI guy doing this? Is the ATF guy doing this? Is the Attorney General doing it? Who exactly is coming up with, you know, reasonable, comprehensive, you know, rational thought when it comes to the Second Amendment? So establishment of a Second Amendment czar sounds great to me. Mm-hmm. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's great.
Absolutely.
You need a main chef in the kitchen, right? You need the lead cook or whatever they're called. So I think it's a good idea.
What do you think, Sam? Second Amendment czar?
Get your application in now.
I was going to say.
Well, it would. It would be. I I think it's important that we have that type of position right now, given the precarious state the Second Amendment is in right now. But I'm a little bit wary of through establishing setting the precedent that, we always need someone who's focusing on the firearm issue, because you know darn well that the next time the White House flips, you know exactly what that position will be used for.
It'll be a gun ban czar.
Exactly.
Do you have any ideas? I mean, obviously, we're just talking about this right off the cuff here, but what would be an idea for putting someone in that position with the idea of it not becoming a permanent position and being used against, us if the next president is anti-gun? Do you have any thoughts on that? No? Nope. Okay. All right, let's move on. Okay, create and staff a first.
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
Oh, that's all right. That's okay. We'll move on. By the way, I think it's an excellent idea. Maybe the idea is to basically state, hey, we have this czar, and then boom, problem solved. Let's move on. All these responsibilities go to, I don't know, ATF or whatever. But what you're saying is, hey, right now, at this point in history, it's good to have an organized person, who's focused on this, but, maybe it should go away after its purpose has been served. Second one, create and staff a First and Second Amendment section within the DOJ's Civil Rights Division. Huge fan. I've been talking about this for forever. We're civil rights activists. This is a civil right. No question. Before Heller, it was a civil right. After Heller, it's a civil right. No matter how much you hate guns, it is a civil right. And I think a lot of people approach this thing, using logic and statistics and whatever, when they should be approaching this thing as the civil right that it is. This is you as an individual, no matter how much, bad they bring up. The fact is, this is a civil right. This is a right of each individual. You are born with this right. It is a right that comes from nature or nature's God, period. It's not given to us by the government. So the fact that this is put under the Civil Rights Division, I think, is a very positive step. I think that it could potentially show, and I've seen this happen in practice, it could potentially show people who advocate for other civil rights who don't really necessarily think that the Second Amendment is very important. It might help change their position. Like, hey, okay, now I see this, through a different lens, through a lens that I can relate to more. So creating a Second Amendment Civil Rights Division in DOJ's Civil Rights Division is probably an excellent, excellent idea. And I like the fact that they called out openly hostile areas like California, New York, New Jersey, Massachusetts, etc. What do you think? Any thoughts?
So I think that, yes. So I really think you're talking about sticking to the Constitution. I much respect to the Supreme Court when they reference, like in the Bruin case, the Heller case, that we must stick to the Constitution. I think that foundational fact, we can't lose that. We got to keep that in the forefront of thoughts and hold people responsibility. Remember, we talked a couple weeks ago about keeping people in their lane. Well, the lane needs to be, and you need to follow that Constitution. Yep, that's your lane.
Yep. And then the next one, the third one, the final one, enact massive National Firearms Act arms reforms, plural, not just one, but many reforms. Yeah, NFA needs to probably go the way of the dodo. If not go the way of the dodo, it needs to be gutted and rethought. We live in a completely and totally different world. It's almost 100 years old now. It's like 95-year-old, 1930, 90-something, over 90 years old. Things were very, very different back then. I don't think at the time the NFA, I understand the emotion behind it, but as far as what they did was probably far too overreaching, even at the time, but times have definitely changed. That doesn't just mean technology. It means, of course, the understanding of the Second Amendment and the fact that it is a civil right as well. So excellent job, FPC. Thank you, as always, Firearms Policy Coalition. If you haven't donated to them recently, then now's the time. These guys are stepping up and doing the hard work, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate the work that they do. So thank you guys very much. Anything else on FPC and what they're doing?
I just said, just to give it a year, National Firearms Act, 1934.
34. There you go. What are we in? 25. So that's
91.
5 to 30
Carry the
plus
one.
3. So that's 8 years. 8 minus 100, so 92. 92 years old.
That was a very weird way to do that.
That wasn't even Common Core math. What was that?
There you go. All right. Point is, I got to figure it out. Hey, thanks for watching Gun Owners Radio. I hope you loved that clip. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and follow us on social media. And check out our website at gunownersradio.com.